Just waiting for this
Yeah,
one.
there you go.
Yep. Right.
You hear us?
Oh, I'm talking about them now. Yes. Rachel's given a thumbs up. Excellent.
Yes.
Welcome to the Policy and Projects meeting, 17th of June 2026. Start.
Okay.
Okay, here.
My to my mother,
rather kid to try. I said, I try. Maybe some other guy. Jim has a bad way. I'm going to tell us everything. But I am not as exactly.
Who are you, Tay?
Apologies, believe we've got 3 people. Joel won't be attending. Ryan's still in hospital, and Rachel. So there's 3 people missing.
Rachel? She was online.
there.
Mr.
Right.
Chair, I'm happy to move those apologies.
Right. Move that be accepted.
You correct me?
Second.
Any second?
I can't.
No. Okay.
Happy to second.
Steve. To the Steves. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Passed. Conflicts of interest? Any? Don't seem to have any conflicts of interest. Move on. Forum. Got no one. Discussions in public forum, we haven't, because there's no one there. Confirmation of the minutes.
I'm happy to move. They're inaccurate.
Read that accurate. Which one's read the minutes, of course. Seconder,
Happy to second.
say it again.
People sleep.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Passed.
Yeah. If we can change the order,
Change the
Chair,
order to
and
Graham
Graham Carson can do his report.
First.
So what number is it?
Page
7.6.
7.6, page 45.
Right.
Graham, yours. Go for it.
Okay, this is the report that we put together. This report was put together by the team in my absence because I was on leave last month. So some of these things here, I might just have to ad-lib them and add a little bit more to them because I think some things need to be explained a little bit further. And first of all, I'd like to apologise for the typo in the PACE score. That should read actually April and May, not February and March. But the score was the same, it was 95. So for you, those of you who don't know what the PACE is a monthly scoring system that we use to score our maintenance contractor, Fulton and Hogan. And every month we have a list of objectives that we try and get them to meet. And they're scored 100. 95 was a reasonably good score. So we're happy as a department that we're getting what we want from Fulton and Hogan. Next section down is the financial summary. So as we're coming to the end of the year, you can see that we've not got much money left. That $849,000 that's in there is actually, it's probably accounted for, it's programmed work. It's just not been claimed out yet out of the budget. I'll talk a little bit more about the low cost, low risk in a section further down, about the work that we've done in that category. So no serious, well, depends if you class crossing a railway crossing. No real big issues on the health and safety front, but those were the 2 issues that were reported to us by Fulton and Hogan that they had issues with concerning health and safety. The next section down is the work completed. I'm not going to go through this line by line unless anyone's got any questions, but you can see there what we've actually tried, well, what we have achieved in those 2 months, the potholes, the edge breaks. Now, the edge breaks is this thing that we're actually, there's quite a high number of edge breaks being repaired because we're now as we're in the winter, we actually start repairing the edges of the road for next year's resealing. So that 91 metres is quite a significant amount of edge breaks that have been repaired, but that's in preparation for next summer when we start actually repairing the road and resealing it.
Another question, Graham, just
Yeah.
on the works completed, just the minor events around those fallen trees. Are those fallen trees actually on the council land, or are they actually trees that have fallen onto the road from private?
I can't specifically talk about those particular ones, but we do have a mixture of them where we do have trees that are on private land falling over and we have to clear the highway.
Okay,
So, for example, we had down by the transfer station during the last 2 storms, we had some of those pine trees come down onto Dalefield Road. So that's the type of thing that they're referring to. Yeah.
do we have any ability to claim back on clearing those against the private owners?
I'm quite happy to pursue that if that's, but we don't at the moment.
We can investigate that and report back.
Was Powerco?
They will probably not attend. They will definitely claim for any private trees that will taken out their private things, or you have to organise your own electrician. But we need to clear the road.
Powerco want trees moving near the, if you have a tree that falls on a line,
Yeah.
it's going to be at your cost to have the line repaired. And so in principle, I guess that's the same for us.
So can I just clear up our policy with Powerco? They will give us a first trim and a first cut back for free. And then if we want to have a tree removed that's near one of their power lines, they will do it for free.
Really?
Yeah. Vegetation and trees are a big issue, or a reasonably big issue for roading, because we are in a lot of conflict, a lot of issues with residents determining boundaries, where the original boundary is and who's responsible. We had a couple just recently on Norfolk Road where there was several months of discussion about where the boundary actually laid and who planted the trees. A lot of people that moved into some of these lifestyle blocks planted trees on road reserve without permission.
Yeah.
And then they now expect it to be our problem when we have a problem with it. So there's a lot of issue around vegetation and trees.
I can understand, especially around the urban area and so forth around town and that and along the trees squeezing in our road and corridor and so forth. But the likes of to Fordale Road, Tafado Road and Craiglee Road, to me, if they're forestry trees and stuff that are coming over the road, I would have an expectation from me personally that we're going to look at claiming some money back from the forestry companies if we're clearing them on their behalf.
Yeah.
So if we can take an action and maybe look into that, if that's something we follow through.
What if it's just shelter?
In terms of shelter belts,
Yeah.
then they should still be controlling that, because it's a windbreak or something like that. It should be controlling that.
So not with this council and with South Wairarapa, there is big issues with. I don't know if you're familiar with the road, and I can't remember the name of it. The road that goes along by Poppies there, by the vineyards. You know, those trees were planted by the vineyards to grow into the road, and we've got examples in Carterton as well where they grow into the road. It becomes a safety issue. We have to trim them back, and it becomes a cost. I think both councils would really take heed to actually try and reduce the number of trees that gets planted on roads, because it becomes a headache later on when the tree becomes a 15-year-old tree rather than when it's put in initially. And it does, and we consume all of our vegetation budget, and we could do with more. Keep our roads safe.
Are we able though, do we have any sort of bylaw? Can we have a bylaw whereby if a tree that is on private property becomes an issue for traffic or whatever that we have to look after, that we can require
We do.
We do.
Yeah, we currently do.
Yeah.
If a tree is on private land and it's notable in private land,
Yeah.
it's becoming an issue to a sight line on a junction or whether it's overgrowing the road and a high-sided vehicle can't get down. One of my team members is actively sending letters to people to say you need to get it trimmed.
And if they don't act and you act on their behalf, can you send them the bill?
Yes, we do. We give them the option.
Yeah.
We give them a deadline. And
Yeah.
if it's not done by a certain date, we give them a second opportunity with a second letter, and then we tell them we're going in to do
The
it.
difficulty is if it's on road reserve, because it comes down to who planted it.
Mhm.
And it may have been a previous owner.
Yes, that's the issues I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Council also plant trees, so.
Mm.
Anyway,
So do you want me to go through any more of those side rails and debris cleared or any of them? They're all self-explanatory. The minor events we've done. So moving down on to reseal, just let me get my computer sorted. So I'm all good. So as it says there, the target of our reseals for the year has been completed, and you can see that we've done over 17 kilometres. And then there's a list there of the roads that were resealed. The area wides, I take it you all know what an area wide is. It's when we actually revamp the whole road. So we take the pavement from the foundation, the pavement away from the road, and we rebuild it. You can see there we did Park Road, Chester Road and Norfolk Road, and we met our target there again. I'd just like to point out that the target that we have is different to what the expectations are from NZTA. But our target is based on the budget that we have. But NZTA have a higher percentage of our network expected to be completed on both of the reseals and area wides. So it's our target that was met, not the target. We fell short of NZTA's target.
Do they get cross with us?
They get cross with us in lots of respect. But we have a thing called the Forward Works Programme. So we're actually looking at 3 years ahead. We're looking at lots of things when the road was last sealed or last rehab, and it's a contention, and it's a very important thing for us to make sure we maximise our budget from them. But then we have to match it, and that's how the condition that the situation I'm in is balancing those. If I had more money, I could do more, and I would meet their target. But I don't have more money.
but that's one thing we'll look at with
The
the
long-term plan.
long-term plan asset management thing, yeah.
Because there's a comment in here about that.
Speed management plan is very brief here, and I've got a few things I would like to add. The speed management plan is going ahead, and it's going ahead well. We're putting out. We've found a couple of little things that we'll have to tidy up, loose threads that we've sort of maybe overlooked and need to tidy up. The big issue with the speed management plan is the increased vandalism. On our rural roads, people just disagree with what's been done, so they're pushing the signs over and breaking the posts, breaking the sign, and it's costing the council money. It's worse in South Wairarapa, but it is happening in Charterton Council as well.
Do you expect that to drop over time?
I don't know, because we do have ongoing vandalism with people, but it's just been noticeably worse over the last month or so. Because
But that's
Yes.
in line with the new speeds going up.
that's the new speeds going up. People
So
disagreeing with
potentially,
it.
yeah, potentially it might drop off, but because there's more signs, there's potential for more damage as well.
And they disagree.
Yeah.
And they disagree with what we've done.
Was there much damage done to signage that's been up there for a while?
Yes.
There is.
We every Monday morning we probably spend the Monday morning trying to, because the signs are in two categories. They're regulatory, and then there's just a standard sign. A regulatory sign is something we have to repair within 24 hours, 48, I can't remember. Because it's a stop sign, it's regulatory. It's to manage traffic.
Speed sign as well.
Yeah, so something like that has to be done straight away.
As you roll out these new speed signs, you're going to probably peeve the odd person off.
You are.
Which is what you were talking about.
We are. We are. And one other thing I would support or welcome some support from the council is the some of these speed things that we've put out are actually being disregarded, and we're actually making our roads more unsafe. I'll give you an example. I had a woman phone me the other day, and she was coming up Park Road. The time she got from Carter's Line to town, two people had overtaken her. She was doing a speed limit of 80, we just introduced to 80, and two people overtook her at 100k. So unless the police get out there and place these new speed limits, we're actually making our roads more unsafe. Because that Park Road is a very narrow road, and for people to be moving at 80, which is what they're meant to do now, and then people overtaking and taking risk is actually making that road more unsafe because it's a narrow road and the area for overtaking is good.
That could be something we could bring up with the area commander when we have our regular meetings with him, because, you know, it's about, that's actually about an enforcement.
Yeah.
Really, like that's the law and that's what's happening. And if people are doing that, it's not that we're making it unsafe, but they're making it unsafe by disregarding the law.
And it's not-
So we need to get the police to maybe be aware of that so that that's really, there's like consequences and we can reduce that. Yeah.
I've asked the same from South Wairarapa and they're going to do that. They're going to get the mayor to speak to the area commander. That's what Fran told me.
I noticed down in South Wairarapa, the police have been out there with radar guns, but mostly around schools.
Yeah.
Rather than, I think, other areas that have been just recently changed. But yeah,
That was similar to that's the whole reason for that is after my request to them.
oh, okay.
So there's
But they have been responding anyway.
yeah, they have been, and we've actually got some rural contractors that are breaking the law as well. So we've been in touch with the police ourselves, but there's a lot of rural road stuff not going unchecked. I don't know how much time I've got, but Takoki Bridge we're going to talk about in a few minutes. We found a logging company taking 60-ton trucks over a 40-ton bridge. That's why the bridges are falling down.
Yeah.
So we need the police out there, and if we don't do it, we're not going to get on top of this.
The speed you can see, but an overweight truck, it's a bit harder to determine, isn't it?
I've got a contact in the police that goes out with scales and you'll get them weighed.
Right.
Just a question on that. I don't want to drag this out, but whose responsibility is it? Council's responsibility because we put the signs up for weight limits on those bridges. So is it our responsibility to?
We've set the speed limit and the weight limit. We don't have the authority to enforce that other than
Police it.
police it. Yeah.
We don't police it,
Yep, no.
but what we do is we a contractor who's moving
Goods.
heavy vehicles and goods around on our network, they actually have to apply for licenses, which our department issue to them. So we will determine routes for them so that they're not going on bridges and make it very clear where they can and can't go. But we don't actually, I don't send someone to sit down on a bridge and sort of snoop on a bridge and wait on a contractor coming over. That's an enforcement thing, which is the police. So we set the parameters, but we don't police.
No. But basically, we're setting the legal limit as the road controlling authority. The police will be enforcing
There's a thing
the
called
law.
There's a thing called the Max 50. It's on online, Max 50, and it tells you every bridge that's got a post on it. And a posted bridge is a bridge that has a weight restriction on it. So if we do anything to a bridge and we post it, in other words, put a restriction on it, it goes onto the Max 50 list. So haulage companies should be looking at that to see what axle weight and what weight their trucks can be to go over certain bridges. Clearly, the logging company that we caught weren't doing that.
Are milk tankers a problem as well?
Pardon?
Are milk tankers a problem?
That depends on the size of it. Yeah. Yeah. Milk tankers are a huge problem for us, especially with the storms, because we can't get them to the farms. So if we write a bridge off, we have to inspect it before we allow dairy trucks on. So yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Any questions? No more questions on that. So that's a speed review.
Sort of leads into that 11 emergency works, which you were just discussing.
Yeah. So the emergency works. These are the main ones that we're working on at the moment. As a result of the most recent one, which is the storm in April, the Whangatiriri Valley localized flooding caused some issues, some dropouts and things, road slumps and things. Tea Creek Bridge, that was reported to us by one of the local farmers that we had an issue there, so we quickly went and did a bridge inspection, and we urgently had to take action on that bridge because there was a foundation slab underneath the abutment of the bridge, which was unsupported. It had been completely scoured out, and basically it was just balancing there, so we had to get that. We did have a few issues because we had some medical people on the other side that needed daily medical treatment and things, so we had to allow for a nurse to get over, and there was people that needed to get out. So we did have big issues with Tea Creek Road. It was the month I was away, so I didn't really personally experience it. At Farrow Road, we have a real big issue at the moment with the amount of rain we've had and the road not getting dried out. And I've been talking to the logging companies in the last 2 days. We have between 80 and 100 logging trucks crossing one section of road that we can't stabilize. So that's causing us a huge headache at the moment. We also have the road, the hill that goes down to Flat Point. We have 200 meters of that hillside slipping away. This is the result of the storm, and we have a couple of other smaller slips and dropouts. Now, I'm probably going to have to, Lawrence and I are going to have to get together on how much we want to spend on that big 200-meter section. To solve that belt and braces, you're talking a big bill, but if we just patch up and continue to patch up forever, it's going to be a smaller bill. I just don't know how we should deal with this, because doing the 200 meters is one big job. There's no guarantee that the hill will be completely stabilized, and I don't want to spend too much money on something that's not going to be a full solution.
So this is the same section of road. It's got quite deep ruts in the moment.
No. The slip is there right out of the coast, going down to Flat Point, down the hill. The ones with the ruts are on to Farrow Road. Yeah.
And you mentioned 80 to 100 trucks. Are you saying per day?
Yes.
Per day.
Per day.
Okay.
I spoke to what's his name? Matt, I think his name Matt. Spoke to him, and one of the guys was speaking to him, and I took over the phone call, and I said to him, how many trucks are going out there? He says that's 40 loaded, 40 back. He says, and that's on days where they're not actually taking metal in to build the roads inside the forestry block. So he says, on average, it'll be more than 80. And we can't stabilize this piece of road. And we've had, is anyone from comms here? They'll know how many
Phone calls and messages.
we've had a huge amount of phone calls from residents that are further out toward the coast. And Fulton and Hogan have been working on that piece of road permanently since Wednesday last week. And, I would just like to praise Fulton and Hogan. They called me yesterday and said, Graham, we're going to do the rest of the work free of charge. So, really good.
I guess what you're saying though is this isn't sustainable.
And Craigie Lee is another road, which is not written here.
Yeah.
Farrow is Craigie Lee's off at Farrow Road.
Yeah.
I had a call from a Forest Enterprise yesterday, and again, there's one of the particular bends that's just getting smashed. So much water, the ground just liquefies, and when you've got that volume of trucks going over it, you can't get dry material on it quick enough before another truck's going over it. And that the Farrow Road is so bad at the moment that there is only one single lane. So if a car or a resident meets one of these logging trucks, the car will probably get bogged in if it goes off road.
Mm. Yeah, I've done some work with Go Bus, and we have a bus that goes out that way.
Yep.
And they've got radio now to
Yep.
work with the trucks, but cars don't have that.
So our RTs are a necessity going out there
Mm.
because of the volume of these trucks.
There's no alternate route, is there?
No.
This is draining our budget. That's really what you're saying, isn't it?
It's not good. It's not good.
Is this storm damage and therefore we get a slightly higher fire rate, or is
Right. So I was going to talk about the storms. So the process for the storm, we have a storm, we have an event. I then I have 6 weeks to lodge quite a lengthy report detailing every part of the damage. We get 51% from NZTA, and the council needs to find the other 49. And we are struggling.
Because when we had Cyclone Gabriel and hail, we got 90 something.
Yeah,
We have to pay the first amount, don't we? I think there's a certain amount we have to pay before they'll contribute the 90%. Yeah.
It's a cumulative in terms of small events until you get above a certain threshold and then.
Hail was before my time, so I'm not sure what fire rate we got from hail. I could look, I should really look.
Sounds like we've got a real problem because that Morrison Low report I noted said that the Wairarapa has a disproportionate amount of rural roading compared to any other district. And so, you know, we've got to get some help. We can't just keep labouring our ratepayers with such a disproportionate cost.
Yeah, well, I put that point to one of the logging managers I was speaking to 2 days ago, and his response to that was, he says, the people that have invested in forest have been paying rates for the last 30 years and not using those roads. They're only going to be using them for maybe a few months, a year. For 30 years, they've been paying rates on those forest blocks, and now they do need to use the road. So that was his defence to that argument.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation because the amount of rates that they pay never accounts for the damage on those roads.
I'm not here to defend. I'm just
Exactly, but that's a whole different conversation in itself.
I think it's particularly worth the infrastructure report that just came out where they're talking about user pays. And that's probably a case to talk to.
Yeah, well, as part of our what we're looking into for our LTP, we're looking into whether we can introduce a rural roading rate as such. So
What, you know, like Marsden have.
but just going back, if some of this area onto Faro Road is where damage had occurred during one of these events like Steve has mentioned, and it's just been ongoing because it was never, I guess, fixed up 110% or what could have been fixed up 110%. So we avoided this ongoing stuff. I'd be curious to know if some of this goes back to that and whether we should be able to claim some more money to actually repair it properly. I'd be really interested to know.
well, I can assure you that I do the best I can with the report to claim as much as I can from, and I'm happy for anyone to see these claims. South Wairarapa have got a more significant issues with the way the storm hit this area, but what happens is I put the claim in and then they come and inspect. So they will come and they will look at that big 200-metre landslip down at the end of the road. And when they see it, they will agree that, you know, it's just a tick, you know, we agree with what Graham said. I think we would be very hard pushed to claim for a complete renewal of a piece of road like onto Faro because of the logging truck. It has got wet. But they'll turn and say, well, why is the forest not pulled back from the road so it dries out? So I think it'd be a challenge to maybe get that over the line.
Are these sealed or unsealed parts of the road?
Unsealed.
Unsealed. So would seal fix it?
Stabilise the road before you see it.
Yeah.
I understand, but I mean, would seal stop? Let's say you had a window of opportunity to do it and do it well. Would it solve that problem?
If we dried the road out and in the summer we put a new pavement down and restabilize it, put a good foundation down and put seal on it, it would improve the situation. But the problem is that's expense that I don't have.
Of course, yeah.
And where do you start and finish?
I know. I was still thinking like,
Huge.
yes, it costs a bit more, but if it over the life of it, it has a better benefit than leaving it unsealed. Then it's something to consider, isn't it?
Going back to my point earlier, you're only doing that for 8 months of the year for 30 years. You're resealing, you're putting all that expense into the road. It's only going to be getting smashed for a period of time while they're extracting the log.
Okay.
And in the next 30 years, it doesn't need to be sealed.
But if the Faro Road, it actually has patches of sealed and unsealed.
Yes, it does, yes.
What was the logic behind that?
I don't know because I didn't do it, but a lot of the time, if we have spare budget at the end of the year and we find a bit that's near a house and we've had lots of complaints, we'll do a little section.
Right.
To keep the dust down.
Where the councillors live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not commenting
yeah,
on that.
but that's something I think we should probably pick up for the long-term plan.
Yeah.
Discussions and workshops.
So just humour me here. What's the worst case is that you don't do anything? What happens?
Depends on the situation. We do need to keep a road out to that community.
You're legally required to keep that road going.
Yeah, oh, that road would definitely, this one where it's so, there's,
Yeah.
but I'd maybe taking too much time here. I brought up the other day that there is two options to get to Flat Point. You can go down Glenburn Road and turn left and go along to Flat Point.
Yeah.
But where this 200-meter slip is, that is never going to be stabilized. It's like Manawatu Gorge. It's constantly moving.
Mm.
Do you want to put money into that or add 4 kilometers commute to Flat Point by going down another road that we could put more money into and make it better rather than having two?
You ask us now?
These are bigger picture questions.
Yes.
As you say, we need to be talking about this in the long-term plan, and that's a really good point to make. And it's like we've got to think about like long-term sustainability and, you know, within the structure that we've got, like user pays or focusing on one road and not doing the other. So there's things we need to look at to try to.
You're saying rather than spend money on that, which is going to keep moving.
It's going to, you never stabilize it.
And put it over there.
Yes,
And
make it a good
change
road.
the routes, but spend it wisely.
But you're adding maybe 5-6 kilometers to their route to get to their property.
Situation that had
Yeah.
occur.
Mm.
But probably of more concern to me at the moment is the section on Tafaro Road.
We're working to get on top of that. We will get on top of it. We're just adding dry material and we're grading twice a day. But if I could close that road down for a week, tell the foresters they're not going in there for a week, I would probably lift some of the wet material out and relay dry and compact it and then leave it, do a proper road build on it rather than try and patch.
So to me, I don't know. I would question whether something needs to be brought to council to discuss if that has to occur, because if there's safety issues with buses going out there and even buses meeting a car and the big ruts and everything that are occurring from these logging trucks, that obviously can't be fixed up while people are using the road.
While it's wet.
So there to me is a big issue if there's a safety issue. So to me, something I'd like to know more about how this could potentially options for this to be fixed,
We could,
a proper fix.
we need to reassess the water movement, the hydrology on the road. Try and get that water away before it gets to the road, keep the road dry, raise the road up. You know, there's lots of options, and I can get an options paper written up, but that will come at a cost, and then we could make a decision on what the council would like to do.
Do you think you get support of the users if you said to fix stop this being a long-term problem, we need to close the road for a week? Do you think you get support from the users of that?
I think there'd be, no, I think I'd get both.
Yeah.
Nearly every time I do something, I have communities that praise what we do and then I have other people that disagree. But I think my best option would be to try and get an option paper. I use Stantec for this type of stuff where I have hydrology and all that sort of stuff specialists I need. I get them to draft the paper for me and you will be getting some of these papers soon because I've got some in the pipeline to give us the options, and it will be costed on how much each option would cost and how much life you would get out of it and what would be the best option. And then the council would have to make that decision. But currently I've got no money to fix that road.
Yeah. I don't know if we could take that as an action, Lawrence. So just for me, is this section in between here and Craigielee, or is it past Craigielee?
It's before Craigielee, I think.
So that to me, we're going to have logging trucks that are going to be going on that road for a hell of a lot longer than 8 or 9 months.
Yes. Yeah.
So to me, that section of road, if that's where the issues are, I think we're going to need to look at that because to me, it's a safety issue.
If the council could give me the support now and the funds to do it, I would go out there. I could get Phil Hogan out there within a week or so to lift all the wet stuff off that road and relay a proper road and elevate it.
But you need to wait for that.
Sorry, we've got the council meeting next week. So even if that is just that quick point to provide the funds to get the options report done, we can have that probably ready. A cost
If you can, I think.
for approval.
Okay. The option paper would take us right into middle of winter and we'd still have this problem throughout this winter and then it will
Yeah.
dry out and then if we're going to do the options route, this work will not be done until the dry period because I won't get an options paper done within days. It'll be several weeks.
Well, no, I was meaning for the council report next week to just approve the budget to get the report done.
Okay. All right. Just the budget for the report,
Yeah.
not for the work.
No.
I understand what you're saying, Graham. It means that we're going to be going through winter.
Yeah.
And this is just going to continue on and on and on unless we manage to get 3 or 4 weeks or even 6 weeks of dry, which I can't see happening.
Highly unlikely.
So I'd like to know probably sooner than that what a potential cost could be of fixing this.
I could give you a solution now rather than an option. So you're not
Can
making.
I get you and Lawrence to work with this and maybe bring something that comes up at the council meeting for next week? Because I just consider that to be quite a serious issue.
Okay.
Personally.
So
Developments.
yeah, that's boring stuff. I'm sure you don't want to know. And so are the TMPs and things. That's just how many corridor accesses we've issued, how many inspections we've done and things. So the ongoing work, right, the bridge issue that we have in council is, I'm going to go down to Kopi Bridge first. That was the bridge that was getting hammered by the overweight logging truck. We've got a design on that. We have instructed Fulton and Hogan to redeck that bridge. We have up-spec'd the concrete beams that go across the bridge. We're getting them made, ready to go across and redeck that bridge. That bridge will then no longer be that HPMV thing is the inspection that we do in it for its weight category. It will not, once the work is finished, it will not be a posted bridge, which means it will not have any weight restrictions on it. But the beams that get made, we have to wait a month for them to fully strengthen. Once the beams and the deck is on, we also have a huge amount of welding work that we need to do under that bridge. So our priority at the moment is to Kopi Bridge, but even that is going to take us possibly 2 months, even longer.
During which time it's closed.
It's not closed. It's just on a restriction.
You've got people underneath welding away while the logging trucks are going over.
The welding work will be closed, yes.
When we get to that point, at least today, no, it's not. It's only restricted in weight.
Right.
When we start doing this work, we will have to take the measures that we need to make sure everyone's safe and its strength. It will not be unposted and there's no weight restriction until all of the welding, all the deck and other work is complete.
Yeah, I was just talking about over the period when you're doing the work.
We'll take the measures that we need to control it. It may be that we close it for a day if there's certain work, or we'll weight restrict it. So they're actually in no danger underneath welding, as long as we keep the traffic at a slow speed and it's managed. Norfolk Road. Unfortunately, the Norfolk Road is a different story, and it is a critical bridge for us. The situation with that is we've got Stantec doing an options report to look at the options we have to repairing it. That was due on the 15th. We still haven't received that report. So when I get it, it will be looked at. We don't have the money to repair that bridge, and we don't have the money to apply for the resource consent to do the work that we need to do. So that bridge does cause us.
Bit of move there, Steve.
We're also getting a lot of vandalism. We're getting people that are lifting the speed bumps. The reason we put those speed bumps there was we don't want anything going on that bridge at speed, because what's happening is we're shaking the bridge to death.
I was going across it the other night and someone came towards us, so I stopped this side of where your speed bumps, and they came right around on the wrong side of the road, straight towards me, so they could avoid the speed bump.
They're damaging the
I thought I was driving into them, but I thought, no.
Your little car.
all the grass edges are all being damaged.
Oh, yeah.
They're again,
It's just nuts, you know.
It's why we sort of requested the police to attend those sort of things, because it's a safety thing, but they're ignoring it.
Yeah. I just can't believe people go that far around to get around a speed bump. It's nuts.
It's quite
Oakley Bridge.
it's blocked for a reason. We put the shallow ones in,
Yeah.
we put the small ones in, and people were just on four-wheel drives and ignoring them. So we had to up the height. We went to the full max before we started to become unsafe. You know, we can't put huge.
Road would do the job.
We're actually thinking of putting tar ones in, seal ones in now. Rather, I don't, they may have been done, but the bolt down ones were getting lifted by people.
So this is people who are going to Mount Polesworth and potentially going tramping or doing whatever they might be up in the hills. It's not actually residents, or do you think it's residents?
I think it's people who know that those speed bumps are there, so they must have gone over them more than once. So there'll be residents or people going to Bollies or.
Can I just point out that usually most offences that are caused on roads are by locals because they're familiar with the road.
Yeah.
When
So all these speed restrictions you put in are being ignored by locals.
we had the Section 17A report on the Remahunga Roads report a few months back, one of the recommendations was a little bit more structure around risk management. And it sounds like this bridge is potentially becoming like a safety risk. And I think we do need to have a little bit more like understanding and oversight of that, because it's, I think, like, putting things in and trying to stop it, but really, like, that's one of our core functions as governance, is to make sure that, if that collapsed or something, that would be really catastrophic. So
I know I'm taking too much time, but I really do appreciate having this opportunity to talk to you. As an engineer, we take an oath that we have to err on the side of safety. I can't undo something I already know. So when I get a bridge report done by a consultant, it doesn't just go away. Unfortunately, the history of both councils we've not addressed these bridge issues in the past, and they've now. I'm not going to let them go away. My conscience will not let those issues go away. I don't have the funds to do everything I would like to do. I don't have the staff.
The issue you've got here with this particular bridge, though, is really serious because you don't have the funds to fix it, and any safety things you're putting in there, people are ignoring. So we're going to end up with an issue on an incident on that bridge sooner or later.
And the longer we leave it, the damage gets worse.
I think we need to take some action on this. Like,
Yeah.
We're speaking from previous triennium. I don't remember Ardie Whakatu coming to the table and as a serious issue, or even put on the table as needing massive repairs. I think it's come to light in maybe the last however long, 6 months or so. It's been because of the reports that have been done, or engineering investigations that have been done, has made it a lot more serious. But for me, if it's locals that are doing this, it's not like we can say with our comms that if you continue doing this, we're going to close it to residents, because of its residents who are. Do you know what I mean? There has to be some kind of. But you've got to go over this report yet, the Stantec report you've mentioned in here, you're going to go over that and then bring something back to us.
Yes.
So until that,
Yeah.
yes,
That
we're
report
waiting
you brought
on
up a while
Graham
ago.
to-
Yeah, I read all that, and it's South Waipien, Carlton Bridges, and it's a bit concerning, and as I say, there's a lot of safety issues that need to be addressed, but this funding is going to be a problem.
But, I've also got a paper that you'd be very interested to read, where I got a consultant to cost, when I did the last bridge inspection for both councils, I got a consultant who's a planner to cost out how much or how much covered we are for resource consent at the moment and how much new resource consent we would need. That report, I don't know, it did go to some individuals in council. It's $780,000 worth of consenting work just to address our bridging problems, both councils,
Which doesn't go into the bridge.
which doesn't go into the bridge.
Yeah.
So
This is nuts.
it's frightening. This is my day-to-day work, and we can't keep up with it. Pardon?
No. It's your effects because you're working over water. So it's addressing what the effects are
I
on.
can give you a very good example further down here. We're talking about the Mungatiriri. We've in our bridge inspection, they've been poorly maintained for decades. In the inspection, it highlights bridges that need to be, it's called gold seal. It's like a grease that goes on to protect the steel structure. There's 2 bridges that need to be done in Mungatiriri Gorge. One of them we can't do without getting another consent because we'd have to do we have to do a sample of the paint that was used back in the day. One of those bridges has come back with lead in it. We're not allowed to drop one flake or even air particle off of that paint into the river. So we have to get another consent and we have to go through all of this work process to say how we're going to do this. The other one we can't do at the moment is, or both of them we've just gone into the fish spawning season. It's stopping us from painting it. And it's lead free. So it's lead free, but we can't paint it because of the fish spawning season. And the other one's got lead on it, so we can't paint that without resource consent.
Which is the bridge at Norfolk Road? Is that lead paint?
Pardon?
Is the bridge on the Norfolk?
I think, oh, sorry, that's on my notes. I don't think that one is. The Whakatika one on Link Norfolk Road is not lead free, but it's got bigger issues than lead paint. Seriously, it's falling down.
I mean, seriously, what you're saying here is that we're headed for a bridge closure or a bridge incident because we're stymied. We can't do anything.
Anyway, maybe it's something we can discuss in a bit more detail in the long-term plan. And that would also address some of the budget.
How urgent is this? Is this a long-term plan thing, or is this getting to a point where you're actually going to strand residents?
I really think that the council should maybe consider having a workshop on letting me talk about some of the big issues we have, and then we look at a plan going forward. Because
I think that's a hell of a good idea.
I
think some of this
bridges
is-
are getting older, you know, they're older bridges built way back and hadn't been a lot of stuff.
can I just say that when Fran took over down the bottom, she actually asked me to stand up for 10 minutes and just give a snapshot of roading. I was still stood there an hour and a half later with all the councillors, and they are South Wairarapa are probably one step ahead of Carterton to trying to get these things addressed.
If we're in a situation where that bridge gets closed or it collapses or something, and everyone knows we've been warned about this but did nothing
That's
about
what I'm
it,
saying. As
we're not in a-
an engineer, I'm not allowed to let it go away. I can't undo what I already know, because if that did happen, it would be
It's on us.
it's you and me.
But there's nothing in the engineering reports that highlights that sort of risk.
Not for here.
No.
Okay, it's just getting rid of.
Just going back to what you mentioned before, resource consenting, I'd like to ask a question of the minister around this, or because the Bishop is making considerable changes to resource consenting, and what may have required a consent previously might not require it. I'm wondering whether some of that may fall under that. So you're talking about consents that haven't been applied for, but that we should be applying for. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
So I'd like to ask a question. I'd like to know a little bit more if you can share some of that, because I'd like to ask a question on behalf of our council, the minister, about that.
Because of the storm damage and all the issues that I do have down in South Wairarapa, I asked Mayor Fran I spoke to her after my presentation, and she went away and she got some of her very good contacts at Regional Council. I'm doing some really good work with Regional Council to move that process out, especially when it comes to storm events and how because we are stuck as engineers, because what you do, you're allowed to initially make the things safe. As soon as the bridge is safe or whatever is safe after a storm, you've got to stop, retrospectively claim that consent, put that consent in, with the work you've already done to make it safe and the work that you want to do to make sure that it's finished to the required standard. So yesterday I had a 2-hour meeting. In fact, Lawrence walked in on that meeting with me yesterday with Regional Council, where we're addressing separate bridges and separate issues through South Wairarapa with Regional Council. That same work is not quite being done.
Just in terms of trying to mitigate what's happening already, just a suggestion, but should something be put to the Times Age about the delicacy of that bridge, just to try and raise public awareness that this is a serious issue, and we're not putting in speed humps just for the hell of it.
Emily's right there.
Oh, right, yeah. Do you hear that, Emily? Oh, she's got a hand up.
I think she's telling us she's
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the summary of the bridge. Well, it's not a summary, it's just a very quick snapshot.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
You feel it more than anyone.
I think the last time I sat here, I did actually say that, you know, if we didn't start doing some work on our bridges, we would be starting to impact our economy as well. Because if we close some of these rural bridges, it's no stock trucks, no milk tankers. You know, that's a big walking area. You know, so I'm sure there's people come here in the summer too.
I know won't happen, but I mean, you'd think the Department of Conservation might have an interest in this bridge as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't hope to.
I know.
Under my breath.
They've got that money.
So there's a brief there on the next section down is the resource consent. Harry, who put this together, has done a good job of highlighting it, but there is a lot of more other issues. If the councillor would like to see that paper that I had drafted about how much we need to spend on resource consent, I'm more than happy to share it.
I find it depressing.
Certainly,
Maybe give you a
I'd
shot.
certainly like to see it, just
Yeah.
because I'd like to do a bit of advocacy.
I've got a copy of that, so I can send it.
You've got a copy. Yeah. And then footpath renewals. Pretty much, we don't have much budget in Carterton for footpath renewals. We continually get complaints about the standard of our footpaths, roof lifting, trip hazards and things. But unfortunately, we've done the best we can with what we've got.
Thank you. You could.
Sorry, and I
Thank you, question.
just like to thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to
Thanks for
highlight some of these things. But we do need to maybe have a workshop where I can maybe put a half-hour presentation together.
That'd be great.
That's a good idea.
You just mentioned 10 minutes at South Wairarapa and you're an hour and a half. Do you think you might need longer than half?
It will be more than half an hour when you start asking me questions.
Can we take that as an action too, Lawrence, that we look at trying to put in a workshop in our program?
Plenty of spaces, eh?
Well, I was thinking we
July.
can sort of, because roading is going to be one of the predominant one for the asset management plan, that would sort of fit in with that.
The issue with roading, and I'm going to take this opportunity, I'm being really cheeky by taking it, but we've had, since December 24, we've had 3 significant storms. We've had a bridge report that's actually getting action taken on it, and historically, some of this stuff was just not being either addressed or not being worked on. And my team are just flat out. We just, you just, $1.8 million was given to on an emergency claim for the first storm that we had for South Wairarapa, 1.6 million on the next claim, and then I've got a claim in right now. That you can imagine how much work that money is, but it's the same team trying to deal with it, and it's just not achievable. We're not getting on top of this.
Understand.
Recommendations?
I'm sorry to be there.
Not a lot of the budget, yeah, I realise, yeah.
Is it received?
Received that report from Graham?
Councillor
I'll
Burton,
second it.
Second, thank you.
Nick Ritney.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Cheer up.
All those in favour? Against? Passed. Right, we go back to the future. We go back to 7.2. 7.1. Move to the table, please.
Go to council. So in the interest of time, I'll this report is read and say it's just bringing to you a new policy that we have for the Goimers. Assure you, I guess we've long had great process in place. And one of the key areas that we just identified was having that overarching policy to tie that all up together. Once, hopefully, with any changes or recommendations, once it's adopted, we do have some work just to go out and do some education with our staff, so some training on their obligations in relation to official requests for information. Happy to take any questions.
I got a really quick question, which will solve all our problems. This is really no different from what we're doing, is it?
Yes, that's right. That's correct.
Okay, so I'm happy.
It's just formalising, I guess, the overarching policy of our intent.
Does that mean you're going to move?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a quick question though, it's related to well, just yeah, sorry.
No, Grace has got a question as well.
How much is it different from OIA in the way it implements? Because I was listening to a radio interview about the OIA and the Ombudsman is trying to, that there is actually no repercussions if someone doesn't respond to an OIA request, even though they've got deadlines, there's actually no penalty. Does that happen with Lagoima as well?
And so in the first instance, Lagoima is the local government equivalent of official information for central government, and other agencies. So they're the same in intent. And then if we don't respond, which would be very unusual for us to not respond to a request, they then go to the Ombudsman and it becomes the Ombudsman's process to implement. Normally what they'll do is investigate and then likely direct us or talk to us about why haven't we responded. So the intent is to resolve the issuance. There have been probably a couple of media profiles around typically OIA requests to central government agencies and ministries about things that haven't been disclosed in an OIA. As opposed to not responding at all. So
because this guy, the Boshier, isn't it? That's the Ombudsman, I think. He
no,
oh, not anymore. Okay, but he was being interviewed, and they were going to take a ministry to court because of their lack of response. But he basically said that even if they're found guilty, there's no penalty. So it makes you wonder. So it was just out of interest whether the Lagoima is exactly the same. Not saying we're not doing the job. It's just a case of is it the same? Is there no penalty if you just decide to say
no? Same process being through the Ombudsman's.
Right.
So
it's probably the same. Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah, and that's sort of in the accord as to what to put in place penalties or such.
Grace.
Hi everyone. Couple of questions. First one was, do we have many people who are paying for Lagoimas at the moment? Is that something that happens quite often?
It's not something that we charge for very often at all. So we don't have people who don't pay if they're required to. We don't require payment very often. Usually most responses can be done within the free time frame. Yeah. So the first hour is free of collation work. If we think it's going to be substantial, we'll always go back to them first to say this is substantial collation, and they might refine their request to, instead of asking for the last 20 years records, they might say, I only want the last 2 years. So we normally can work around that, but we don't have people where we've issued invoices and they haven't paid.
Okay. And my second one was with regards to when I was looking through the policy, there didn't seem to be anywhere that mentioned what the policy is for elected members who have asked questions. If I remember last training, there were a couple of instances where elected members asked questions that wasn't from the council as a whole, but an individual wanted to know something and it was put through the Lagoima process. I wonder if there's something in the policy we could add to sort of formalise what council's approach is to dealing with our own elected members' questions, or potentially how we deal with other councillors. Like if we have mayors from other regions who are asking us questions, does it go through the process in the same way as an individual? Or I wonder if there's something that we could formalise.
Absolutely. So, and I guess in the first instance, we would just treat councillors acting in their private persona if they'd like to make a Lagoima through the official channel. Generally, we can resolve information requests from councillors around the table or informally, but if we, as you say, we have had instances where it needs to go through the formal process. If you would like to add in something extra around increased requirement or responsibility for councillors specifically, happy to do that.
Yeah, I just wondered if there could be something, if there's an issue in the future where something comes up, then we've got something to point to in the policy saying, well, actually, this is above and beyond your remit as a councillor, or actually, you have a right to ask that. I just don't know if it's super clear where that line is. So I wonder if
Right.
yeah.
Sure, no, we can certainly look at that, bring that back.
But if an elected member is asking something that is council related, then I guess that would be different to if someone's acting on something personal to them. Would that be right? Yeah.
I think that we still have the same obligations to provide that information if you're a councillor or any other person. Sometimes it's useful to go through the Lagoima process so that it's published on our website and it is available for the community to see what the information is. So sometimes that's a reason you might want to make an official Lagoima request rather than just around the table.
Does it add much administration for you because it's a Lagoima as opposed to just a question?
Yes.
Okay.
It is a formal process and we do, go through it. But I guess overarching everything is transparency for the community. So regardless of what the administration requirements are, if it's worth asking the question and being available, then it's worth doing it. Yeah.
Right, any recommendations that we accept the report and policy? Can we take one and two together?
Well done, we can now, can we?
We,
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a
as a suggestion, we could, if you're happy, adopt the policy with the inclusion of a clause clarifying councillors' ability to make requests through the normal course of the process along those lines.
Yep, I'm happy with that. I don't want to stop the process and not have the policy adopted, but I just wonder if it could be added.
Yeah, I'll support that.
Receives a report for a start.
Happy to move.
Move that. Second, anyone?
Yeah.
Grace? All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Passed. And so we'll do the adoption one. And I'll word that.
Amended.
Does anyone have a suggestion of the words they would like to include, or we could delegate to the to officers to frame the wording for approval by email at a later date?
Sounds good.
Grace, you happy with that? Yep. Right, those in favour?
Move it.
Second.
Right, better move it then.
Happy to
Grace,
move.
Grace will move that.
Second.
Simon, second. All those in favour? Against?
Thank you.
None.
We've got that zero. Change. Yep. Thank you.
Right, 7.2. Victoria, please.
Morning, everyone. So again, I'll do the same and take their report as read. Great. A couple of things I wanted to, main thing I wanted to highlight is obviously our exciting news that we received an 85% approval rating from our community survey, which is fabulous. So that's 2% up from last survey, which is wonderful. What's also great about it is in the what needs improvement section, I didn't put the whole report in with my report, obviously, because you will have all seen it, was under the what needs improvement section, we either sorted it such as the roof leaks affecting events and the sound system reliability. So those are sorted. We have upgraded the sound system and the roof is fixed. Or we're working on making sure it's done, such as seating and visibility concerns, which we're mostly with Dunches, I believe. So we've worked out a way to stagger the seats if it's flat floor seating so that we don't have that issue again. Affordability for families. We've got a range of, for example, we've got a range of school holiday events at different price ranges. So we're making sure that that's addressed. And the only one that we is the parking and accessibility issues, which is something for the long-term plan, I think. So what's great about that is we're being really proactive rather than reactive with our community's concerns. Our EDM rates are really good, quite astonishingly good, according to ASH, which is great. So that's our open rates for our electronic emails that we send out with all our marketing. We're putting that down to the calibre of the shows that are coming through and our school holiday program in the last school holidays, which is really great. So all looking really positive. Had some great feedback from the various different shows that we've had about the shows themselves, but also about the venue, which is really, really nice to get. So it's all looking pretty good. Did anyone have any feedback or questions? Yeah.
Got a question.
Yeah.
It was just noted in the minutes of the last meeting that the Event Centre business plan officers will provide more information on usage value to community financials. A workshop will be considered to discuss long-term business planning and using community funding. Is that
great? We can definitely do a workshop. Yeah.
okay?
Yep.
Because that was just from the last meeting, so it'd be good if that was actioned and planned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like from your report, it's great to see community satisfaction so high. The events are getting pretty well attended and your operating deficit's reducing. So that's really cool. I agree. I think it would be still really useful to have a little bit of clarity. I think just so like for operations, but also for council to, I guess like just get a bit more clarity on what's good value for money, because it's still like structurally it's still relying heavily on rates to be run, and that's not good or bad, but I think we need a little bit, like a workshop might give us all a bit more clarity about what's the facility's purpose. Is it, you know, how much of it is community, what's the expectation around cost recovery. So I think there's just, you know, I think we just need a little bit, you know, to kind of figure that out a little bit more so that we can, just so that there's, you know what the goals are and we do it.
Great. Yeah. And actually our the strategy is due for renewal this year as well. So it went to the end of 2026. So that's something we'll be working on. So that will tie in really nicely with what we're working on for the next strategy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Great.
Grace.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Grace.
Hiya. Is that strategy, just following on from your point there, is that strategy something that's shaped by the Event Centre staff or governance or collaborative?
I believe last time it was collaborative. Yeah.
Sorry, Grace. It was the Event Centre team that did a lot of the work, but there was workshops with the elected members, and the elected members signed it off as a final document.
Cool. That sounds good. And just with regards to the budget, the event income being significantly below budget at this point, is that due to shows that you thought were going to happen being cancelled, or it was an ambitious target to start with, or what's the rationale there?
So I'm still learning the budget because I've been here 4 months. So a lot of the budget's not my budget. So what I think it is ticket sales and bar sales. So I think with the economy the way it is, people are being a little bit more conservative about how they're spending their money. And so I think by bringing in a range of shows at different price points, it's really going to help that. But again, it's something that I think Glenda probably...
Just to add to that, we have to, when we're setting our budgets at the beginning of the financial year, we have to put in noting that the majority of that money comes through our accounts and then back out to the show promoters. So I think we look at the last financial year's amount that's coming in, and we plug it, we put this figure in, And then it's just dependent on what shows we have available through this year. So that income does vary because it's just coming in and out for other promoters.
Yeah, so we pay the box office out to Straight Hires, for example.
Yeah.
So that money goes to them minus the booking fee. So yeah.
A few of the shows this year have also sold their own tickets, so that income won't hit us at all.
Yeah.
Which is the difference that we've seen come up as well.
Yeah. And that's where we charge them an external ticketing fee because we make money off the booking fees.
Yeah.
So if we're not doing ticket bookings, then we don't get that money. So we charge them an external booking fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just with regards to the budget, just trying to get my head around a few things. The event centre budget, is that managed sort of by the event centre staff, or it's managed just by Mark and the finance team? What's the relationship there?
Bit of both. I've been working really closely with Natasha and Mark to really understand how the budget works. Still a work in progress because there's a lot in there. But we're working really closely, and Tasha's really great at coming and saying, are you on track and what do you need help with and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of, we're working together, if that makes sense, especially initially while I'm still getting my head around it. I think next financial year I'll be much more confident because it'll be my budget from the start and I'll completely know where everything's gone. But for now, we're working together quite closely. Yeah.
Cool. And sorry, last question, if I can, might be one for Mark potentially, just with regards to the operating costs versus the support costs. Can you just explain that variance there? And so I can see that you're under budget with the operating, but over budget with the support. So what fits into that support category in the budget?
So that support, Grace, is more or less the community services category that is sort of apportioned back to various aspects within community services. So you'll get an apportionment back, and some of that relate to the event centre based on the proportional split. And I guess that'll need to be, and I think we've looked at that more closely for the new financial year. Just to make sure that the event centre gets the share allocation that fits pertinently to that specific area.
So I think it's covering things like our share of IT, HR, payroll, that kind of stuff. And it kind of gets apportioned out, is that right?
It does, but there's probably a disproportionate amount of community services work that's coming back to the event centre potentially based on splits and apportionments.
Okay, thank you. We'll discuss more in the workshop, but that's helpful.
Okay.
Cheers.
See the report?
Councillor Burns and
And Steve
McCready.
seconder. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Passed.
Great, thank you very much.
7.3 waste management minimisation update. Savish,
It's online.
online.
Kiara Cotto, Chair, Mayor, elected members and staff. First of all, apologies for attending this meeting online. I was traveling a bit over the hill for the last week a few times and might have got some congestion. So just being mindful of my staff and everyone around the room. I take the report as read and getting into the report. So you can see that we have included in the waste summary for the last 3 months, everything, including what is going out from the transfer station and from the curbside as well, including the soft plastics from the New World Carditon. So I have used a metric in terms of how much of the weightage we are collecting from every bags. So which I find it very useful as well. And from the comparison perspective, last May, we had only, if you can see, just 7.7 tons of refuse going out to the landfill, which is the lowest in the last probably 2 years, which I'm very, very happy for. And I just like to thank the residents and their contribution in terms of how they are recycling and reusing more in terms of refusing. Getting back to the project updates. So we are planning to visit Earth Touch Please pardon my voice. We are just planning to visit Earthstarch with the other two officers of the Wairarapa Council in Upper Hutt for consideration of implementing their organic waste processing systems. So what they do is they have conducted or they have prepared a machine which is called Rosie, which is their machine, and they are trying to reduce the organic waste in terms of composting in a very, very short time, which is less than 10 hours or something. So it is very useful for us to go and visit and have a look at what the operations are happening. And in terms of the soft plastics, so we are buying a new container, which is a 9-foot one for the operations yard, because how the schematic works for the council and the New World is that the current contractor takes the bags from the New World, empty the bag, and they put it into the operations yard. But given the time of the year, we really want to make sure that the bag is full out of any sort of contamination and any sort of weather events. So buying a container would be useful because it will save the bags and make sure that it can hold the bags for a longer time, and we can do a proper process of the recycling. Just for the next steps in terms of from the last few projects policy, mayor's concern was for looking at the polystyrene, the jib recycling, and we had mentioned that we were looking at central environmental in Palmerston North in terms of the polystyrene jib recycling, but currently the operations they were having are not fully confined, and they are currently restricting any sort of like more feedstock coming into their operations. So this is something which we are now trying to tackle around it, where we should send our jib and polystyrene, but we have certain options in terms of a Wellington City Council piloted sort of project in terms of the jib and polystyrene recycling, and then we have something in Palmerston North as well. So once the cost analysis and the schematics has been done, we definitely will be going forward with those actions. And just for the service request, one of the comments I received was to just make sure and to be resourceful in terms of not showing too much details in terms of the addresses of the residents. So if everyone is happy, with the current service requests I've been showing, which regards to the bin repairs and the lid and the unjustified collection week and the bin delivered. So I'll be taking forward in that regards. For the next steps, so we had recently done a SWAP analysis, the solid waste analysis protocol, which was on the week of 18th of May last month. And we have not received the report yet, but it was meaning to show in terms of what sort of waste will be coming out from the curbside, whether it's food or anything. So we are looking forward to the full analysis report, and then we can definitely add on to our data management in that regard. And recently, Event Center has hosted Miriam Kamo for a Less Waste, Greater Place workshop, which was also being funded by the Waste Levy. It was very well accepted and appreciated by the community, and also some of the officers coming across over the hill as well. They also enjoyed it, and I just wanted to thank Event Center and the staff for the support. And yeah, I am happy to have any sort of comments or questions if anyone have any. Thank you.
I just have a question. Your waste summary on page 28, I probably just never noticed this before, but with glass, it's all collected at curbside. Is there no glass actually taken to the transfer station?
Yes, sir.
We do collect glass at the transfer station, but in the waste summary, the numbers you are seeing is based on what is collected at the curbside, because for the transfer station perspective, the glass is stored at the transfer station and being sent monthly or sometimes in 2 months' time to recycling. So I've just included what is being collected at the very same week. So yeah, it is just for the curbside.
But transfer station says nothing, but that's not true.
No. We collect glass at the transfer station as well. That's one of the, if I have to say, Carterton is one of the, like within 3 councils, we collect more glass than the other 2 councils.
Full of alcohol. I see the same regular people dropping glass here with me.
Sake of anonymity, I take mine to last.
Brittany,
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Savish, just around, you mentioned around the plasterboard and the polystyrene, and thanks for that, for the officers still looking into that. I just have a question around what's happening with the plasterboard at the moment, and is there an ability for the Wairarapa to actually start storing the jibboard, plasterboard, so that when something has been sorted about what we might do with it, we have a big stockpile of the jibboard, because it's really sad for me that if this is going to Bonnie Glen and being thrown in a hole, and the damage that it does to the environment, and the fact that it's actually a quality product, gypsum, that we import into New Zealand, and we should be utilising it. So just wondering if we do have a bit of room in Carterton, and I'm wondering if we can start stockpiling it.
Thank you, Matt. That's a good question. So currently, unfortunately, we are not stockpiling the jibboard, but we are stockpiling polystyrene in Carterton transfer station, even though it is being sent to Bonnie Glen as we speak. But at the same time, we have started the process of collecting these additional waste or wasteful resources, in terms of when we do find a proper solution for this, so that we don't really have to start from the scratch. For the jib, I would say most of the residents I have talked to in the whole Wairarapa region, we are trying to educate them in terms of reusing the jibboard in any sort of manners possible. But at the same time, I do get to comment, and we are still looking to put a better end to the solution currently. Yeah, that is something which is on top of the priority on our list, and we are definitely looking forward to provide a better solution for it.
Grace.
Thank you. Just a quick question, Savesh, on the soft plastics at New World. Is there a need, do you think, for us to have a second soft plastics collection point within town? If it's needing collecting constantly, it feels like maybe there's more that would be done if there was another option for people to dump somewhere else as well.
That's a very valid and good point, but at the same time, so since we have one collection point at the middle of the town, which is at the New World supermarket, we do really like to encourage the residents and everyone else in the Carterton region to use the transfer station soft plastics dumping facility. So they can dump the soft plastics at the transfer station, which is an 1100 liters big bin as compared to the one which we had at the New World. So I have this in the pipeline in terms of whether we do really require a second bin of soft plastics, whether at the New World or anywhere else in the town. But for the time being, the message is very clear that the residents should provide and utilize transfer station facility more as compared to the New World, because the New World soft plastics bin is smaller, and so it just contains a little, like the less of plastic as compared to the transfer station, but the amount of residents who are utilizing the facility is way too appreciated. That's why the container is being purchased, so that we are getting literally 3 to 4 bags every day from New World. So yeah, I as I say, it is in the pipeline of the projects to utilize another facility, and that is something which I do really need to have a pick my brains about in terms of that, and definitely would find a reason, and will come back to you probably in the next budget policy with a solution.
No, that's cool. I know that there was hesitation to have it in the event centre, but I wonder if, where we have in the actual council building where we have the postal box during election season, I wonder if there's space there for one. Just a thought.
So that's a good recommendation. I might definitely have a think about it, and we'll come back to you.
Oh, all good.
Nothing else. Look to receive the report. We have a mover on that. Brittany. Grace, second that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Anyone against? Passed. Move on to 7.4.
Thanks, Fish.
Chair. Here, everyone. I'll take the report as read. A few highlights. So the waterways consent renewal S92, a completed S92 response has been submitted. So now the ball is in their court at Greater Wellington's. So we'll wait for their decision. And most likely they might ask for more information or more evidence, but it's not certain at this point, but we'll wait for that. Another one is that we're planning to progress with the high pentameter water take consent renewal by August. Even though the consent is valid till 2027, we have planned to start early so that we don't get into influx of other consents at that time. Another one is the operational update at the wastewater treatment plant. So we had some maintenance works going at the ephemeral channel at the rear of the Greater Wellington Nursery. So during the April's heavy rainfall event, we had some silt buildup and erosion of bank around there. So that might potentially take more land, but most of the year the ephemeral channel is dry. But as a proactive measure, we have started maintaining it. Those are the few highlights. Happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Everyone's totally happy with, you know, you're not,
I'm happy to move.
right. Everyone's happy with your report. Steve Courtney to move, seconder. Good. Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
And against? Passed.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Moving on to 7.5. Crisco?
I'll text them and come along, but if we can jump down to the water operations report, I can cover that.
7.7.
7.7, yep. Thank you, Chair. I will also take the report as read and go through some of the sort of summaries. Generally, everything's sort of been operating fairly smoothly. Weather hasn't been too severe. It's lucky enough for us, and it has actually been fairly dry. So, for instance, we're not really getting many leaks coming through. But also for wastewater, if I can draw your attention to 4.2, our average for the wastewater is usually around 2,150, and over the sort of month, it's been around 1,400, which for the time of year is unusual. And also because the rivers, we haven't really had many rainfall events. The river levels haven't been up for flood conditions. So we have actually only just stopped irrigating about 2 weeks ago. So we're well into sort of winter. But overall, generally, everything's sort of running fairly smoothly. And for water, consumption is well within what we're supplying, and the reticulation team are usually within 24 to 48 hours to respond and complete. But the number of leaks is, yeah, as I said, down from what has been historically. Any questions?
You mentioned water leaks now, maybe you could give Wellington a few tips.
Well, the team are sort of filling with other jobs, so I have been tempted at times to see whether or not South Wairarapa we could help them out. So if they need anything. Well, probably a couple of months.
No.
No, not now. Got a couple of minutes. So, sorry, any further questions?
Lawrence, it's probably in here somewhere, but I can't see. So when we get quite focused on the percentage of water loss through the potable water, where are we at now? Is that number in here somewhere or?
No, actually, we haven't reported on that in terms of a percentage loss. But in terms of overnight flows, they are down from what they sort of normally would be, around sort of 10 litres a second, but recently it's been around 7 or 8. And some of that is sort of usage. So, for instance, overnight there's usually about 4 litres a second, which we know is going through to a couple of users in that, including the wastewater treatment plant. So,
I didn't follow that, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, we talk about, 13% water loss or 23 or whatever.
Yeah. It's being maintained at about that sort of level. So these are small water losses that were not appearing at the surface or not showing up.
Exactly, but you water in, water out.
Yeah. I'll take that as a note and add a bit more regular basis.
It's just that's.
Yeah.
Won't, and it's 40%. Greymouth at 74% or something.
Yes.
That makes us look pretty good, doesn't it?
Any further questions?
Right, and then we'll look to receive the report. You want to move that?
You can move it if you want.
Well, I'll move it. Yeah, okay.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Lou. All those in favour?
Aye.
Any against? Much moved. Go back to Crisco now.
Yeah.
Right.
7.5.
7.5.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Chairman, I haven't got a copy in front of me. Take it you've read the report. It's not a long report at this time. Probably just to mention the sludging contract is nearing its end. And I have a contractor who's eager to know what the future holds.
Got a question,
But in terms of, we haven't had a final report from him in terms of what the costs are, as well as
we're within the budget. The costs for the current contract is on target. All the results are on target, and he's getting good results from his experiment. But I guess he's asking the question now. He can't get rid of the stuff that he's prepared. He's negotiating with a farmer somewhere to sell it off, but they can't do it straight away. So he wants to keep the product on site. I know there's been questions around, is there a market for the product or not? So I think council needs to come up with a call of, can he leave the stuff there? Problem is, if he leaves it there and there is no market, or his deal falls through with this particular farmer, we might end up with a product sitting on site that isn't going nowhere anywhere.
So I've got a question, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Christo. And my question is related to that and just what's within the contract that we have with Composting New Zealand, and is there an issue with this product remaining on site with us and the potential deterioration of it? And how can we, if it's part of his contract, to actually get rid of the product that he's created, how can we force them to actually get it off our site if that's what we ask of them?
My understanding of the contract was that he was responsible for getting rid of it at the end of the contract.
Yeah, that's what I believe is the contract. I think the thought process would have to be is he wanted to bring other councils sludge here to proceed a bigger business. But is there a market for that or not? I don't think we've answered that question.
Well, his request that we store it on site while he finds somebody would sort of imply to me that there's not really a ready market that we can feed into.
That's my fear is if there's not a market, if there's only one farmer he's dealing with at the moment and trying to get rid of material due to weather constraints or whatever, he can't do it now. If we increase the amount of sewage or desludging that we, or compost that we produce, is there a market in the future? I don't think the other options are very feasible, and you need to get rid of the sludge in any case. So instead of putting it in bags and carting it off somewhere else, it's a good practice to make compost, but is there a market for it?
Can we give it away? Like, bring your trailer, fill it up, take it home, grow veggies?
We're under restrictions because it is human and considered a biosolids.
Yeah.
What the end use is controlled. It is an A1, so we can.
I understood it was safe.
Yes, yeah. But obviously there's restrictions in terms of, so if you're giving away small bags, you're losing control on what end use it is, and it can't be used for like people using it growing veggies or anything on it. So to meet that usage as a permitted activity, there are restrictions in terms of that we have to meet.
So do we know what permitted activities there are?
Yeah. In terms of setbacks from where it's actually grown, where it's actually applied, how much it is applied, in terms of nitrogen per area, distance from any streams or water takes. So that's why.
This is a very restricted map.
Yes, because of that level of control. If they come back and say, what do you do with your biosolids afterwards?
I see Rachel's got a question. I've just got another question around, because I find it a little bit concerning that this product that has, or this compost that's been created will deteriorate. And then the last thing I would like to see is that this Compost in New Zealand just walks away and we're left with this product, and then we have to deal with it. So I'd really like to know what Compost in New Zealand is going to do with this product, and we need to put some pressure on them to actually get rid of it off the site. If we look at the feasibility of us doing composting, and it's cost us around 500,000 to remove around a quarter of the sludge from one pond, I can't see that being viable to us as a process going forward if we don't have any way of getting rid of that compost in the end. And if we just lump with it down there, it doesn't make sense. We're not going to be able to follow through with that process. So I'd like to see us actually, whether an option's brought to council of how we deal with the sludge, because we've got another $1 million, I believe, set aside for desludging.
And not next year, but the year after, yes.
And I'd like to see us make the best use of that $1 million. And so whether something needs to be brought to council of how we are going to deal with that, and whether it's a continue on with the composting or whether we're going to have to use geo bags. I think that's going to be a decision that we're going to need to make around the table, whether we might want to add another $1 million to that and carry on with the composting, but we're going to need to know that the composting is actually going somewhere and not just sitting on our site.
We could have a business case as well so that we can understand the market and understand, if there is, how much of a market, and is it going to be sustainable or not? Yeah.
Question up here, please.
Rachel?
Rachel? Rachel?
Still on mute,
Yeah.
Rachel.
No better?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, just a couple of questions. So what quantity have we got left? And if we have to move it ourselves, what's it going to cost? Do we have the budget for that?
So I'm fairly confident, but I will confirm that it is it's Composting New Zealand's responsibility as part of the contract that they will remove it off site.
Okay.
So he's requested a bit more time to move it and not just the end of the contract period is what he's requesting, but we'll put pressure on him to get that off site at least.
Were there any timelines put in the contract for that?
That's on the page, top of page 40. So end of the month.
End of this month?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's only got a couple of weeks.
So he's basically asking for an extension, yes. So we can do that contractually.
And there was mention in there about the leftover solids as well. So my question around that is, was that part of the contract for him to get rid of those? And if not, what do we do with it? Because that'll mean we don't have consent to have those sitting around, so it'll become an issue.
So his idea of leaving some stuff behind, the solids, and the container, and possibly the slab, this lime slab, is if we were going to continue this contract, that he can then use it, reuse it. In terms of the slab, we will have to improve the slab condition, because the lime slab, it allows runoff onto the property in severe weather events. So we'll have to seriously looking at putting a concrete slab or something down, which is going to be more cost, and proper runoff channels, and probably pump some of that water back into the sewage pond to control runoff onto the land.
So if we were to extend the trial, that's basically, he's asking for it to be maintained on site if we're extending it. If we're not, then he'll be required to remove it off site and reinstate it back to the original condition.
Okay. There just seems to be a few red flags around the end of the project. So, yeah, I think we need to just keep an eye on that and be updated regularly on what's happening.
I think it's because it was a trial, it's whether or not, as a proof of concept, whether we extend it. And at the moment, my feeling is that we wouldn't. Basically, it's not cost effective in terms of the amount of sludge, as Nick Whitney sort of, the amount we've removed compared to the budget that we've got. Grace?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Great. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Mine, I think I've got more of a comment than a question. It seems really frustrating. It seems like a smart way to deal with the sludge, and sitting on the regional waste forum now and hearing how this is such a problem across the country. But, you know, the Wellington region, we have such an issue with waste, and it seems like a really smart solution. So it's disappointing that there isn't a a market for it or a way to use it, even if it's not a market. It seems like there should be an incentive for us to, if we're producing a compost, I mean, think how much the government would spend on when they're planting up huge big areas alongside the motorways. If we could be providing this sort of compost material in that space, it seems like such a saving. So I'm curious, what's the these criteria of where you can have it? Is that's all just regional council rulings, or is that government ruling? Because it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's the new standards for the wastewater standards from Te Mata Arawai, so the national standards.
Right. Okay. Because yeah, it seems short-sighted. The idea of storing solids in a bag forever is just like a terrible solution. And making compost seems like a great idea, but if it's not viable and there's not a market for it and there's so much regulation, it just kills smart ideas. So yeah, I'm just venting my frustration.
This idea, the way you say it sounds so good, and so we've still got to desludge. Yeah. And does that become Waiti Water's problem or ours?
It would be Waiti because it's using up capacity within the ponds, so it's reduced treatment capacity.
You mentioned before about not next year, but the following year, another $1 million for work on this. Is that right?
Actually, I think it's 500,000 next year, and then a couple of years after that, another 500.
Yeah, in terms of that would be YT's domain.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So there's money for it, but it'll come from a different source.
Yes.
It's still a cost to
the
water users.
Water users, yes.
Because we ring fenced it.
Yes.
So one hand this, on the other hand.
Composting New Zealand had a wanting council to apply for a resource consent, which who knows the cost behind it, of bringing in other district sludge onto our district's land to keep this composting going. But we have no guarantee of how we get rid of the compost.
Got a practical guarantee that we can't at the moment.
Exactly. I mean, it could be beneficial, and I'd like something to be brought to our table of the costs for South Wairarapa to desludge one of their ponds.
So Martinborough was $1 million to desludge the pond at Martinborough.
So to me, there needs to be some context around that of the tonnage compared to the tonnage that we've taken out for a quarter of our pond, compared to that value of 500,000 turning it into compost, or $1 million to put it in geo bags. But how much was put into geo bags and so forth? Because I totally get what Grace is saying, and I'm fully supportive of having a composting process, but there are lots of buts around that. And to me, it's not council business to be helping Composting New Zealand to have a profit business.
So I think also Grace's point, I mean, it's all very well to desludge it, put it into geo bags, but then what?
That's the big issue.
That really is can kicking, isn't it?
Well, that's what practically every council around New Zealand is doing. It's going into geo bags.
But is Composting New Zealand able to help with a solution here? I mean, you say let's not help a business be profitable, but if it actually solves part of our problem, then that's why the business is there.
It is from what I know of it. We're going to get to a point though, if let's say he continues on for Carterton, all our ponds are desludged. What does he do from that point? It's not, he's never going to have enough sludge being produced from Carterton to have a composting business there. So he's going to need other sludge to come in. And that's why he has an expectation of Carterton to apply for a resource on his behalf to set up a business there.
Yes, whereas he could do it himself, I guess.
And that's exactly what I asked the question of him during the conversation is, if you think this is so profitable, why are you not going through this process yourself?
Because he'd get free supply from us, right?
I believe he doesn't have the land to set this process up. I don't think he'd be allowed to set it up on his site down his line.
Yeah.
Because of ground situations or whatever being, I don't think he'd get it across the line with iwi,
I
and
think it's in the floodplain as well.
yeah. So
Are we getting close to sort of commercial incompetence? Or?
how do you mean?
Oh, this is on, yeah, this is a public meeting.
Yeah.
In what way?
I talking about negotiations that we're having with.
We're not having negotiations with them.
He's requested.
Or should be saying as a business may be able
Yeah,
to.
it's not mentioned in the.
Well, it's mentioned in the report.
But for a continuation of our sludge. Anyway, for the information, but we will bring a final report and we can do a comparison between how much was removed from Martinborough in terms of tonnes. But that was my concern, the amount of the cost per tonne to treat it to the wastewater, to biosolids, which we can remove off-site in comparison to what they're doing. But yes, that does still leave that. What do we do with the biosolids geobags for after a couple of years?
So everyone's got the same problem, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like there should be a solution.
Yeah, but we're legislated against giving it away, aren't we?
Maybe they didn't really contemplate that properly. Maybe there's some work to do there.
It's around that risk in terms of making sure that you don't create a bacteriological risk, as well as because you've got heavy metals and that come through the wastewater, you don't want to end up contaminating other things, ending up with other issues. So that's why there are controls around it.
Now they have got a huge problem.
Yes.
Growing from.
Spread it on forestry.
That's right.
Forestry is progressing well. We will end the contract, this part of the contract soon. To stay within our budget. We won't be able to do all that's on that plan. So we've got another month or so of installation. We're doing laterals at the moment, and we've got a section of 300 pipe that needs to be installed still. But then that will come to a halt for now.
September is when we're going to finish that contract, with that section.
Brooklyn. Brooklyn, what did I say about Brooklyn? Yeah, we've done a CCTV investigation of that line, looking at the possibility of lining it instead of replacing it. We've got a very deep section of pipe on this western side of the railway track with a high water table, so it would be beneficial if we could line it. Technically, it looks like we can line it. It won't affect the capacity of the line. It would also remove the I&I that we've got. There's a huge amount of water coming into that pipe, and it also take away the pump station that we were going to install. So lining might be a little bit cheaper, but at this stage we don't have the money for that. We can probably do half of that section with the budget we have, and not the whole line. So we're looking at their options there at the moment. Upgrade inlet up that they have put an order in for the major parts, the machinery that needs to come over the filters, and everything is on track at this stage, going well for construction to start in June, July, August, that region. Nothing major to say about that at this stage.
Any questions?
Questions from there? Oh, just going back to what you're saying, it's going to be quite deep trenching on Brooklyn Road if you had to review it, dig it out, and water seepage.
Yeah, that section of Brooklyn Road, the water table is extremely high there.
Yeah.
And the pipe is very deep. So we're going to have the same issues we had on Lincoln Road with the mains that we replaced. So it just seems a little bit more feasible to line it instead of replacing it.
Questions? Receive the report. Thank you. Any movers for that? Second, Steve. All those in favour? None against? Passed. Thank you. Get on. 7.4, do we?
No,
No?
that's it.
No.
That's all reports.
Even to exclude them.